U.S. Democrats push for a ban on AI price fixing. Meta is making big moves in AI. Microsoft admits it cannot guarantee data sovereignty. Pixel phones catch fire, literally. And Google's Gemini admits, I have failed you. Welcome to Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. The U.S. Congress is seeing growing pushback against AI-driven pricing that uses personal data to raise prices or lower wages. Two Democratic lawmakers, Greg Casar and Rashida Tlaib, have introduced the Stop AI Price Gouging and Wage Fixing Act. The bill would ban companies from using advanced AI to analyze personal data when setting prices or wages. Casar warned, whether you know it or not, you may already be getting ripped off. The idea comes from claims that ride-hailing companies like Uber used AI to calculate both the maximum customers would pay for a ride and the minimum they could pay their drivers. More recently, Delta Airlines disclosed on an earnings call that it's already using AI-driven pricing for 3% of fares and plans to expand to 20% by year's end. This means that you could be sitting on a plane with tickets booked at the same time, in the same seats, and pay an enormous difference from the person beside you. The software that does this is supplied by Fetcher, is also used by Virgin Atlantic and WestJet. Supporters call this dynamic pricing, but the U.S. Federal Trade Commission calls it surveillance pricing and says it's happening big time. Their research shows that prices may be adjusted based on browser type, device, location, shopping history, or even inferred life events like becoming a new parent. Picture this. You're a new parent and you need a thermometer because you think your baby's got a temperature. Are you going to be price sensitive on that? The FTC estimates that over 250 companies working with pricing intermediaries using data from brokers and third-party sources are doing this type of thing. While the proposed legislation faces long odds in a Republican-controlled Congress, the public may be less forgiving. For consumers used to the internet as a price equalizer, the idea of AI using their own data to charge them more may spark a real backlash. While headlines focus on OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic, Meta may be emerging as a real heavyweight in the race to build artificial superintelligence. In a video posted this week, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg revealed the company is going all in on artificial general intelligence, AGI, and plans to open source the results. But the real signal came in a Threads post where he wrote, "We're also going to invest hundreds of billions of dollars into compute to build this superintelligence. We have the capital from our business to do this." That scale of investment could put Meta ahead of its more talked-about rivals. The company already controls one of the largest global social graphs, massive infrastructure, and now has a sharpened focus on AGI through its renamed FAIR, Fundamental AI Research Team. Zuckerberg has also been on a hiring spree, raiding top AI talent from across the industry. He recently acquired 49% of Scale AI in a multi-billion-dollar deal to bring on former CEO Alexander Wang. And Wang will work closely with another key hire, Shengjia Shao, to lead Meta's new advanced AI lab. Zuckerberg writes, "In this role, Shengjia will set the research agenda and the scientific direction for our new lab, working directly with me and Alex." Meta has also poached leaders from Apple, OpenAI, and even Ilya Sutskever's Safe Superintelligence. From Apple, it hired Mark Lee, Tom Gunter, and their former boss, Ruoming Pang, who led Apple's LLM team. It also snapped up 3 top engineers from Google DeepMind right after their Gemini model earned gold at the International Mathematical Olympiad. The cost of catching up has been staggering. Some reports suggest Meta is offering pay packages worth hundreds of millions of dollars per person. So the question comes up, where does this leave Yann LeCun, Meta's longtime AI chief? Insiders believe this reshuffle frees him to work on the next major leap beyond Llama 3, adding deeper memory, reasoning, personalization, and maybe moving to AGI? Zuckerberg says, though, that the goal isn't just research. It will power smart glasses and virtual assistants that can actually understand you in real time. In other words, he has a commercial venture that he's pursuing. His open source approach is appealing to developers, although critics warn it could release powerful models without proper oversight. But the bigger takeaway? Meta has the capital, the compute, and now the brain power to shape the next era of AI, whether we're paying attention or not. Microsoft has admitted it cannot guarantee data sovereignty for European customers if the U.S. government demands access to their information. The stunning admission came under oath in the French Senate, where Microsoft France's legal and technical directors were grilled on how the company handles U.S. data requests under the Cloud Act. That act gives American authorities the power to compel U.S.-based tech firms to hand over data even if it's stored overseas. Microsoft's Anton Carnot told lawmakers that the company does push back on unfounded requests, but when asked directly if Microsoft could guarantee that French citizens' data would not be shared without their government's approval, he replied, "No, I cannot guarantee that." The company noted that no such requests have affected European public sector clients to date, but the statement confirmed what privacy advocates have long warned, that the U.S. cloud providers ultimately answer to Washington, even when data is hosted abroad. The pressure to build local alternatives is growing. European firms like OVH Cloud and others are pushing for digital independence. One recent flashpoint: Microsoft reportedly cut email access to the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court during a U.S. sanctions dispute. After the backlash, the company admitted it should have resisted the order. AWS, for its part, claims a different approach. It says it hires local staff to run European operations and does not retain encryption keys, so even if it's ordered, it cannot turn over unencrypted customer data. Still, Microsoft's admission, especially given the combative stance of the current U.S. administration, fuels concerns that U.S. hyperscalers can't be trusted to respect national data sovereignty. And this controversy may not stay in Europe. It could spill over to Canada and other countries increasingly at odds with U.S. policy. A second Google Pixel 6a has reportedly caught fire, this time while charging overnight, raising fresh concerns about device safety following a recent update that modified battery behavior. The user posted photos of the scorched phone and charred bed sheet on Reddit, claiming that the phone was charging with an official Google charger when the fire started. They said it emitted a strong burning smell and thankfully triggered smoke alarms, so fortunately no one was hurt. This comes just a week after another Pixel 6a burst into flames while charging in a truck. Both incidents appear to involve the same device model and occurred shortly after Google pushed a system update that quietly altered how the Pixel 6a charges, apparently in an attempt to preserve battery life and avoid overheating. The Pixel 6a was released in 2022. It's 2 generations behind Google's current flagship, the Pixel 8, and its mid-range sibling, the Pixel 8a, but it's still a functioning phone and in use. So this July update included code that limits battery levels to 80% and adjusts thermal profiles, but it was rolled out without notifying users. While Google hasn't confirmed a link between the update and the fires, the timing and the similarities, little hard to ignore. So far, Google hasn't responded to this latest incident, but if more reports surface, the company could face scrutiny over whether its background updates are introducing safety risks, especially in older phones. "I have failed you," Google's Gemini told a developer after it mistakenly deleted their code. Hours of work gone in an instant. The incident was shared on Reddit by a user who asked Gemini to help rename a component, and instead the AI overwrote the entire file with partial edits, deleting the original in the process. Gemini's quiet apology, "I have failed you, I'm sorry," wasn't much comfort. Even worse, the changes had already synced to the user's cloud drive, wiping out version history. The file was unrecoverable. It's not the first time this month that AI has put developer work at risk. Earlier, another user reported that the Replit coding environment deleted files without warning and gave no explanation, other than it simply replied, "I don't have an answer for that." In fairness, Replit's CEO jumped on this. His development team worked the weekend, they put in safeguards, and they restored the user's data. With Google, I'm betting no such luck. Google pitches Gemini as a powerful coding assistant, but these incidents raise red flags about giving AI tools right access to critical code bases. Errors that once required a typo or fat fingers now come from unpredictable agents with limited accountability. Google hasn't commented publicly on this incident, but for developers, the message is clear. AI tools may promise speed and convenience, but until they're truly reliable, treat them like interns. Review everything, don't let them work unsupervised, and above all, have an air-gapped backup of your most recent work. And that's our show. Thanks to all of you who pinged me back with your location. Thank you so much. It's not too late, by the way. We're trying to solve some issues with our reporting from our hosting partner, and hey, it's always great to hear from you anyway. Just drop me a note at editorial@technewsday.ca. That's editorial@technewsday.ca, or visit our website at technewsday.ca or .com. Look for podcasts, or if you want to contact us, look for the Contact Us tab. If you're watching on YouTube, you know what to do. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a terrific Tuesday.